Welcome to a Healthy Living video blog at workoutmaster.com. This is Ruben.
This is Adam.
Today we're going to talk about metabolic rate. This is a pretty big issue. We're going to try to make it as easy as possible. Let's tear this one apart.
Absolutely. Oftentimes we hear about metabolic rate and people don't really understand it's how fast the body's running, what is going on, am I digesting food, am I gaining weight, what does that have to do with my health per se. And metabolic rate, simply when they talk about metabolic rate, they always use it as basal metabolic rate or resting metabolic rate. And it means the amount of calories that your body consumes on a daily basis when the body is at rest. They do this in a very specific fashion that what they measure is how much you are burning per day when your body is in a rest position. That means, and what it means by rest, it doesn't mean that you're sitting on a couch. What it means is that your body does not have the sympathetic nervous system activated that will amp up the rest of the system.
Yeah, metabolic rate is a good indication of where you're at health-wise, in my opinion. There's two kind of systems that people think, not systems like theories that people think. One of them has to do with, both of them has to do with something with the energy. One says that energy is infinite, and regardless of how much you're going to use it, your body will be able to produce energy. Another one says that you only can have this much energy, and if you use it too fast, then you're just going to burn out and eventually die. One of the things that we believe in, we believe that regardless of how much energy your body is going to use, there's always enough of energy for the body.
And they always do this in a measurement of calories. I don't think that people should be really measuring how many calories they eat, but they should have an idea when, for example, weight is an issue per se. So knowing that you eat up X amount of calories per day and how your body is responding over a short-term period, a week, 2 weeks, or 3, is a good indication that you might be over-consuming for your basic metabolic rate at that particular time or that particular period of your life. And then it gives you an idea of what you should be eating and then making the wise choices about the foods that you eat that can maximize the amount of nutrients that you get, that you maximize also the response of the body by minimizing inflammation and creating a better environment for your body to thrive and to do and reproduce cells and actually begin to replenish your body.
So basically, the more cells you have, the higher your metabolic rate is going to be. So it's very important to have some sort of muscle mass. So that's why they say the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolic rate is. It's not that easy to build a mass, so it's very important to understand that you can actually lose the muscle mass. That means when you're losing the muscle mass, your metabolic rate goes down.
Absolutely.
So in order for you to be healthy, this is what you want to know, guys. You do want to have a higher metabolic rate. You do want to have a higher muscle mass. And you definitely want to have less fat, but it will pretty much almost come automatically with both. The higher your metabolic rate is, the higher your muscle mass, the lower will be the adipose tissue in your body.
And also the amount of work that you do, not responsible also for the amount of muscle that you have. Like, for example, you can say if a person burns this amount of calories per day by means of exercise or moving or hard work or whatever they have to do, they will tend to be thinner or have less body fat in their bodies. Okay, but at the same time, don't forget that what can easily happen is that your chronological aging and your biological aging can actually come in different directions. And it can come apart in the sense that you can be aging faster than what your age really is. And
we see this all the time.
We tend to see this, and I'll use this as an example, not to pick on anybody in particular, with athletes that do a lot of endurance work. They tend to age faster than the chronological age because biologically they're creating a lot more burn. I think that's what the Oxford extrapolated theory, that you have X amount of energy, and once you burn that energy, that you can actually consume in a lifetime.
You got it from observing endurance athletes?
I wouldn't doubt it, but there's a probability. But there's other factors that are not being into account of how well you take of inflammation, how well you regenerate cells, and therefore the other theory can come about that if you actually regenerate and you maintain your body as in a state of very, very low inflammation, that your body can go on for a longer period of time. We see this with certain people, not to mention anybody, they are of certain age and they look a lot younger than they really are. Due to the fact that maybe our perception of this age number has to have a particular look, and also because these people at the same time might be taking really good care of their lives, and therefore they show much more youthfulness for the advanced age or not so that they might be at.
Okay, this is what you guys do want to know. In order for you to measure your metabolic rate, we find the easiest way to measure your temperature. And you can refer to our episode, I think it's 163, You Think You're Healthy. We talk a lot about metabolic rate, the temperature, and the pulse.
And the pulse.
Yeah. So it's a good measurement if you would just refer to that episode, so we're not going to brush up on it.
The whole idea, the whole premise that we want to kind of, clarify is that you need to eat a certain amount of calories per day. Yes, but we don't have to be slaves or having a calorie counter book and says, today I ate this many and tomorrow I'm going to do more movement because tomorrow I work out and therefore I don't work out today, so I have to eat less today. Doesn't have to be to that degree. It has to be maximizing, the function of the body in a normal, thriving state. And then the body learns to compensate it slowly up and down according to the needs that you put in through in that particular day.
So you do want to provide a perfect food for your body. And you guys know we talk about food all the time. Partially, whatever we talk about, repeat studies about how you can feed your cells the best. So the whole idea is if you feed your cells the best, you're going to get a higher metabolic rate. Therefore, your whole organism is actually working on a higher speed. That means you're feeling better. You actually can do a lot of stuff better. You can recuperate better. You'll have a lot more energy. And you guys see this all over the place. Everybody's complaining about fatigue, tiredness, and extra weight. It is all combination of a low metabolic rate. So if you have a low temperature, low pulse, chances are you have low metabolic rate. Chances are you're predisposed to all those troubles.
Right. Another thing that goes hand in hand when you begin to reading about basal metabolic rest or just metabolic function is also body mass index, because they try to put you in a category. By those standards, when they'll tell you, what is your weight, your height, and your age, they're going to put you in a category by itself, And for example, when I did the calculation for mine, I'm about 5'10", and I weigh about 207 pounds, and my age is 42. When I did that, the category that it fit me in, I think it was the number was 30, which 30 pretty much puts me in an obese state. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not in the best shape of my life now. See what happens at the end of the summer in the program that I'm doing right now, and you'll notice that I'm not obese. So these calculations can actually throw a person off really, really, really bad.
I don't like that body weight index.
I don't.
I think it's just the whole thing is just kind of retarded. The last thing I want to do is be an average. And what is an average? Some people are just thicker than another one. So what? If you're 5'10", not everybody have different frame. No, we're not supposed to be in the same.
And different have the different amount of muscle. So when you start looking at a lean body mass and stuff like that, it changes a lot.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of variables in play.
Right, and then the body mass index is absolutely almost obsolete in its veracity.
I think so. All right, guys. So if your metabolic rate is higher, then your future looks better already. If you share this episode with your friends and family, especially if you share it on Facebook, then their future looks better too. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next time.